Hello, everyone. Welcome back to With Infinite Love. My name is Kalila, and today we have a reading all about your next incoming healthy soulmate connection. We do have three groups today. Group one has the luminescence card, group two has the portal keeper, and group three has gracious receptivity. And these are all from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle cards. Um, I did try to go a little in depth this week. And another thing you will notice is that I am not in my normal recording space. I was away from home, but I still wanted to do a reading for you guys. So I do hope that this resonates for those for whom it applies. If it doesn't, that's okay. Not all readings can be for you. So if you find yourself confused or triggered by anything that comes up in any of these messages, please just know that that's not for you. It's not a reading for you, or it's not a message for you, and you are welcome to choose another group, another reading, or another reader. But yeah, go ahead and choose which card is pulling you the most, and the timestamps will be in the description below. So I will see you in your reading. Hi, Group 1. Kalila from the future here. I recorded your reading, and I don't know, about 10 minutes into it, I realized that I had forgotten to turn my mic on. Now, I have forgotten to turn my mic on before, and the phone recorded the ambient noise from the room. So it wasn't as good of quality, it wasn't as isolated as we like it to be, but it was still there. This time, the first 10 minutes of your reading are completely silent. You can hear nothing. So, what I've done is I have gone back and done voiceover pickups over what I had recorded there. So, it'll look a little weird. I do try to say what I said before, because I was very much in the zone, and your reading was so good, and I didn't want you to miss any of it. And I'm a lip reader, so I can probably do okay job, but it's not perfect by any means. So this is your disclaimer. Thank you so much for being here today. Hi, Group 1. If you chose the Luminescence card, then this is your group. Today we are talking all about your next healthy soulmate coming in. And we have some oracle cards, we have some confirmations at the end, and we obviously will look into the tarot. But I want to start with the card you chose. This is a card all about self love. And I know sometimes we get tired of hearing that, but it can be very important on the journey, especially when you're hoping for that healthy, happy, respectful soulmate who is going to treat you well. So today I am going to read from the book. I know not everybody loves that, but I'm going to skip to the divinatory meaning at the end. So it says, consider the parts of yourself you may not be accepting. You may be experiencing an inner dissonance due to what you are trying to push away. This card is about self love. That is the deep, compassionate, unconditional love of self that brings you into wholeness. Lumen essence means the essence of light. There is nothing that makes us shine more than a heart that is full of love. You can shine through the shadows most gracefully when there is no fear within. Accept your shadows so they can more easily resolve. Allow more light and love inside and out of your world. So that is the message of the card you chose. And so I think most of us struggle with self love on some level. And so this is a card that is telling you, it's not telling you that you're not doing it right. It's a card inviting you to give yourself love, and when you're not doing it right, when things are rough, when things are not what you want them to be. You know, the book talked about fear, um, about on a frequency level, fear and love are at opposite sides of a spectrum. And so fear can move you, fear can keep you from finding the love that you desire because they can't coexist together. And so I really think this is a card of advice about your part in bringing this connection into your life. So please forgive me. I am not at home. I am pet sitting. And so my setup is very different, and I don't have things quite as organized as I would like. But we're going to get into your tarot and see what we have for you. Oh, and this is where I started talking. Okay. So I was talking about how this was the reading that wanted to come through, and I was excited for it, and I was like feeling it, but I just for some reason kept putting it off. And I was like going, okay, why am I fighting this so much? Like, why am I putting this off? And I I finally had to just say, you know what, we're going to do it and sit down with the cards. And so that's what I'm explaining here as I'm shuffling, is that like I couldn't keep planning and overthinking it. I had to just sit down and do it and see what came out. So thank you for walking with me together on this. And so you you got okay. Yes. And I was trying to do a more in-depth reading for this reading than I usually do. But I wanted to make sure I had time for that. So um yeah. And here I am. So what happened here is you got some cards before I even asked questions. And the first card that came out was the Ace of Wands. And so this is someone who's very eager to be known to you because of the way that all came out. You're not going to have any doubts about whether this or not this person is interested in you. They're absolutely going to come forward. Um, they're going to be very, kind of passionate, and there's going to be a lot of attraction. So it's going to be very obvious to you when they come in. And of course, I drop things on the floor because that's how we do things on this channel. This may well be a fire sign. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. But because of your cards, we have 4. They just so we have the Ace of Wands, the 4 of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and the Sun. So I'm very excited for you for this reading. This looks really good. So we'll see what else comes out here. And spoiler alert, since I am doing the voiceover from the future, Spirit wanted me to really go deep into the cards that were there. And instead of pulling more. So we have the Ace of Wands. And we kind of already talked about that passionate in beginning. But what I was really being drawn to the hands in the card. And so they might be someone who works with their hands. They might be like a massage therapist, or do a hands-on healing, massage therapy, Reiki, any other like healing modality where they work with their hands. Um, so that's coming through for some of you. It probably won't be for all of you. But even if they don't do it as a profession, there may be something here where they do have a side gig or a hobby, or maybe even just something in their personal life where like they will give you massages, and that's something that brings them a lot of fulfillment. But because we have all of this energy coming out of the hands, it does feel like that. So I am always drawn to the way they depicted wands in this deck, the way they illustrated it, because it's not your typical fire energy, right? It's giving um, sonic screwdriver in a way, for the Doctor Who fans. But it also reminds me of those electric like candle lighters that they sell that just um, yeah, that light your candle with a little spark. And so instead of fire so much in this deck, it's more an energy of electricity, of that kind of that crackling passion that can happen between people, is often what comes through for me with this card. And then the planet in the background, I think, is probably Mars. I'm not sure. Um, but it's but yeah, I think there is a lot of spark, a lot of passion, a lot of um yeah, I think you do feel each other across the room. I think there is that energy between you that really is going to be very palpable, that other people will notice. Um, yeah, a lot of intimate energy between the two of you. So the next card we had was the Four of Wands. I think this is going to be a very restful relationship for you. This feels like someone who knows how to rest, who knows how to prioritize rest, but also who feels like someone you can rest with. And here is where I noticed my mic was off. Okay, it's on now. I really in the zone with the channeling of this, so I am hopefully that you can hear all of that, but I'm not going to re-record it unless I absolutely have to. And I will check this, and if it's horrible, I will re-record. But hopefully, we can keep going. So yes, this is someone that you can rest with. This is someone that you can make a mistake with. This is someone who doesn't mind when you are human, because of the way that this all happened with my mic. This is someone who doesn't mind when you get something wrong, when you embarrass yourself, when you've set yourself up to do all of this, whatever it is you're wanting to do, and it falls through. This is your safe place. This is the person that you can rest with. And I think for most of you, that's going to be a new experience, to have someone who is that accepting, that loving, who isn't taking your mistakes personally or as a hit to their ego or reputation. This is someone who says, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. I still love you. You're still doing great things. This is that kind of energy here with the Four of Swords. And this is still someone who knows how to fight, right? This is not a passive person. He's in armor. He's ready to go to battle when he needs to, but he knows when to rest, and he knows when that's not what's called for. And so you have this person with all of this passion, but also the wisdom to know when to use the passion and when to be more of this restful, healing kind of energy. So then we have the Ace of Cups. Again, this soulmate has a lot of romantic love for you. This isn't just passion. It's not just a logical decision. This is a very romantic option. This is someone who wants to give to you in a way that we think of as romance. If you, whatever that looks like for you, whether you like flowers and you want to receive that, or you prefer words of affirmation, whatever feels like love and romance to you, they will want to give you that, because they have this really soft spot in their heart for you. They have a lot of emotional love for you, because fire is passionate love, but this is someone who wants to do nice things for you, whatever that looks like for you. How about that? And this is someone who I think can witness you through your different phases, especially like, so most of the people who watch tarot, or at least in my experience and on my channel and on the channels that I watch, most of the people who are drawn to tarot readers are femmes, women and femmes. And so we have these phases, whether it's because we have cycles, menstrual cycles or not. We tend to go through, these kind of the luteal phase, or the, like when we're talking about the menstrual cycle, it's really mirroring a lunar cycle. So that's what this is giving. It's giving that, whether I am energetic or sensual or shedding and purging and, angry, or whatever stage that you're at, this is someone who loves you through all of it. They see that you are the same person despite your fluctuations, and they want to love you through it. This is a very lucky situation for you with the koi fish here too. I think, but the cup overflowing is what we talk about as the kind of the central theme in most Ace of Cups cards. It's this overflowing cup, and this cup is your cup. This person, like, yes, we're all responsible for filling our own cups, but this person helps you fill yours, helps you feel like it's overflowing. Whatever self-love journey that you're on that teaches you how to fill your own cup, this person is going to magnify that for you. Yeah, I really love that for you. And then we had the sun. So the sun is associated with the sign of Leo. So we have Leo quite strongly here, but this also does have the entire zodiac on this wheel. And so this isn't about them being a Leo, though they might, but this is about kind of, so we all love to say it's the happiest card in the deck. This is, I think, because it's complete, right? You also have the whole solar system here, all the planets. And the sun shines its light on all of them regardless. Some are further away than others, and some are closer. And where's this going, Spirit? Oh, so channeled, not necessarily the meaning of this card, this might be someone who is either they travel a lot or you travel a lot. And no matter where you travel, however far apart you get from each other for whatever reason, the love is the same, and it's felt no matter how far away you get. It's always drawing you back into its center of gravity. Thank you, Spirit. That is absolutely beautiful. I love that so much. I've never gotten that from this sun card before, but yeah, I really love that. So in traditional decks, there's usually, I think, like a child, a naked child on the back of a horse, and there's symbolizing innocence there. But this is a different kind of joy. It's that unconditional, loving kind of joy for me is what's really coming through here. And like I say, I think this passion that make people pick up on is also going to be the fire that uh, that really sustains your relationship, even when things are rough, even when you can't be together in person. This is going to be the energy that really keeps you going. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so those are the cards. We're getting more cards from this deck, Spirit, or do you want me to grab another one? What's the timing on this, Spirit? The Temperance. It's not the timing card we necessarily want. I mean, yes, it's Sagittarius, so there's more fire there, but it is a card of patience and balance and patience. So there's that. Timing on this, Spirit? Timing on this. Are you going to give us any more than just when I say so? Yeah, I think that's all we're going to get that. So how are you going to feel about this person? I mean, I don't know why you would feel any particular kind of way, but how is my viewer, Spirit, going to, what is their first impression of this soulmate going to be? Are they going to have the same recognition? What's that? Okay, interesting. You got the 10 of Cups in reverse. So 10 of Cups upright, ultimate happiness, right? But in the reverse, I think you don't see it, right? I think the water is obscuring your vision of this, and it's here. It's like, it's possible that you don't believe it. Like you think it's an illusion, is what's coming through here with this. That like, it feels too good to be true. And I get it. And maybe that's because you meet before you've done the work to believe that you deserve it. Yeah. You might meet at like the wrong time. Like when this person is like, heck yes. And you're like, I don't trust you. This is reminding me of a situation in my own life. This has happened for me. Huh. So there might be a delay, and that might be what this patience is about. Is that there might be, because you might push it away if you haven't done your inner work yet. But once you do that work, ultimate happiness. Huh. Is there anything else here in the Temperance card? So this is for somebody. It won't be for everybody, but this Temperance card, this is a card of alchemy. It's like a card of channeling two disparate elements. You got your water and your fire here, and you had water and fire in your aces here, right? But this is you being the person to know how to balance those out, to alchemize those, to make them what they should be. But what's coming through here, for some reason, I think it's because of her necklaces here. I don't know if you can see that. It's making me think of between that and her dance, her position here. I think she's dancing, and so this won't be for everybody, but I mean, it might be. It's one of the best like somatic healing practices that I have used is to dance out your feelings, to dance your unworthiness, dance your distrust of relationships, dance whatever comes up for you, to dance it out. Like I say, that won't be for everybody, but that is absolutely a message for somebody here. So interesting. How will they meet, Spirit? How will my group ones meet their person? Or reconnect if they've already met this person and there's been a pause, since we saw that somewhere. Oh, how will they meet? How or where will they connect with this person? I think that was just me. Those don't feel like your cards. Let me get a different deck. This one's has gone quiet. Give me 1 second. All right, how or where will they connect? Okay. Queen of Cups, Three of Wands, Two of Swords. What does this mean, Spirit? How or where will they connect? So the Fool, I'm not usually called to look at the bottom of the deck, but I was this time, and the Fool came out. So I think one or both of you will be starting over. I'm getting you, for the most part, will be the one starting over in your life, taking that leap of faith, embarking on a whole new journey. Okay. So that said, why? So we have the Queen of Cups. And so this might be a friend or mentor, family member who is going to, in some way, facilitate this connection or reconnection. Like, this is someone who is either going to set you up with them or is having a party and inviting you both, and you'll reconnect there. This is someone who is very emotionally mature, emotionally aware. They're not trying to meddle in your love life, but they're seeing a compatibility because they know you both. Yeah, that's all that's really coming through with that. But it feels very like this is matchmaking in the best sense, though. If it's because it does feel deliberate. It feels like this person is like, they're not just going, hey, you're both single, you should date. This is someone who goes, I know you both really well, and I see how compatible you are. Or they only know one of you really well, and they know what you need, and they recognize it when they see you together. I don't know if that makes sense. But this is someone very invested in both of your well-being. Okay. So with the Three of Wands here, I think this is something that you are manifesting. And so I'm getting that this is your part in bringing the two of you together, is getting really clear. Okay. Yeah, that was one of your oracle cards that I pulled out earlier. Tell the universe exactly what you want. This is this. This is what you're doing. You're getting really clear on what you want in a relationship, what you need in a relationship, not what your patterns have been, not what feels comfortable or familiar, but what you actually need from a relationship. And that is going to help to magnetize this in for you. But you can't skip this step because it's right after, like, yes, she's going to be doing the work, but you have to do your part. You have to know how to recognize so that you don't have this confusion this time around. Yeah. Because there is, yeah, your next card was the Two of Swords. There is something about this that you aren't going to necessarily trust. You're going to be unsure whether this is what's actually for you, whether this is what you actually want, whether yeah, but he's coming in. I don't know if this person is younger than you or if they're just going to ride in on their white horse and sweep you off your feet. The Knight of Wands is not someone I would usually like. He can be the hit it and quit it knight. We prefer to see kings. We prefer to see the emperor. We prefer to see pentacles at the very least for long term. But I think this Ace of Wands is driving this Knight of Wands to come to you very quickly. And maybe that's why you don't trust it. Maybe you're like, maybe you don't trust it because it comes in of the way it comes in. So that's why you're here at this reading, because this is the last cup that came out. This is your Two of Cups. Okay. So yeah. Anyways, we were looking at these cards to see where and how you two will come together. So we said we've got this queen who's working for you. We've got your manifestations. With the Two of Swords here, she's reminding me for some reason of the Justice card. And so there could be a legal connection, something to do with the law or law enforcement that brings you together. Or, with her swords here and the sword suit. But you could also be learning some kind of combat sport or fencing kind of a deal where you're learning how to do that. There could be a class where that's a thing. I'm sorry, I'm being really drawn into her blindfold. Oh, that's an 18 plus message. This wasn't going to be an 18 plus reading, but there might be a situation where blindfold happen that brings you two together. Oh, now I can't unsee it. So that is there for somebody. The crown, the blindfold, the way, the white. There could be, listen, if this is not part of the heart of the reading for you, just ignore it. If it is, I think you'll pick up what I'm putting down here. Okay. And then with the Knight of Wands, I do, again, this is someone who will approach you. But this is, look at that. This is a unicorn, okay? Like, this is not your standard, like I said, your standard Knight of Wands is your hit it and quit it, here for a good time, not a long time knight. And, he's the one who leads with his wand. I was just looking at the spikes on his suit here to keep enemies at bay. They might defend you. Ooh, Ooh, for somebody, ooh, for somebody, this is the one who is defending you in whatever legal situation this might represent. For someone else, the spikes are a different message for that 18 plus section of the reading. And I'm going to leave that alone. But if you ride horses for any reason, that could also be a place where you meet. But this Two of Cups here coming at the end, I do think you will see this eventually. So the another thing coming through here is that you might have different ethnic backgrounds, different cultural roots, some kind of difference that would make coming together challenging for people who aren't maybe as open-minded as the two of you are. So that could be a struggle in this situation. Yeah, I just recently saw something on Instagram about this lion with the wings, and I was trying to remember what it was. They were connecting it with Leo energy, and I think with the defense of this relationship and the way this relationship shines to other people. So that's something coming through. What else, Spirit? What else do we have here about Group 1's soulmate? The initials C, M, or N might be important for somebody. What else do we have? We have one, two, three, four. Cool. So yeah, this might have a very natural linear progression. You know, we said this guy was going to come in hot and that you would probably slow it down. So yeah, the other one of your oracle cards, these are just weaving their way into the reading, and I was going to save them for later. But you have caution, and what I was really being drawn to in this card was the don't overwork yourself. I think the advice here is to take this slow, to not that you have to be cautious of this person, but I think you could get swept up in the passion, in the fire, in the romance, in the urgency of this. We've got a lot of wands, a lot of swords, a lot of cups. There are no pentacles on this table. There's no earth energy here at all. And I think really the advice here is to create that earth energy, to let this ground, to kind of fight that urge to get swept up in all of this and really take it one step at a time. Yeah. All right, I'll move on to confirmations. I have my little self-made confirmations deck. I will upgrade this eventually, but there's only, I don't get paid for this yet, and so I kind of going slow in building my channel here and trying not to rush ahead. So for now, we're doing DIY confirmation cards. So what do we have here for confirmations? For group 1. And then we'll get your last card. You have one more oracle card from a different deck, from the Empyrean, and we'll look at that and see what your final advice is going forward with this. So they might have a clean cut look and almond shaped eyes. Ginger hair. Confirmations for group 1, please. Okay. Oh, no, don't put those away. Okay. So then we have the Pacific Islands, Central Africa, salt and pepper hair, round eyes, Sub-Saharan Africa, tattoos. Okay, we're gonna take these and then that's it. Platinum blonde hair, East Asia, jewelry, and these can apply to you or them or anything. Arctic Circle / Arctic Council, those the nations surrounding the Arctic Circle. Big Nose, Australia, and West Africa. A lot of locations came out in this one. So yeah, so things like with jewelry, that can be that you like to wear jewelry a lot, and so that it could be a confirmation for you, or they could. But yeah, if any of those landed, they don't have to. It doesn't mean it's not your reading, but if you were wanting more, then that could be it. I forgot to grab my dice. We'll get a few numbers here out of my backpack. All right. We'll get some dice, some numbers, confirmations for group 1, please, Spirit. Ooh. Come back. 8. 8 it is. Okay. 4, 12, 7, 16, 3, and 70. So these numbers can be anything from birth years or birthdays to angel numbers or address numbers, zip codes, postal codes. Any of those things can be true. So yeah, 3, 4, 7, 8, 12, 16, 70. With the 70, you can add that to anything. I've been doing that when it's with those kinds of numbers. I've been seeing if it was birth years. So like that could be 1973, 1974, 77, 78, 1982, 86. With a 12 and 16, you can add them together if you like. But yeah, if any of these numbers has meaning for you, then take it. Like I say, again, these are for confirmations. They don't have to apply, but if they do, they do. All right, so let's look at your last card. So you got trust here from the Empyrean Oracle, and I'm going to find that. I have the first edition of this deck, which is no longer in print. But there were some issues in this first deck, and it's still a beautiful deck. I still like it, but it does not film well. 53, and the book fell apart. So, trust. Trust is not a last resort balm for anxiety. It is the brickwork that must be laid in the mind. Oh, I love that, because we were talking about how you had to kind of slow down and do the work and ground this. Too often, after some personal loss, we ease the discomfort by slathering "everything happens for a reason" on the inside of our brains. It becomes a life raft that we cling to as opposed to the land we build our homes on. Sometimes trust requires us to step outside ourselves. When we are working on a new way of being, with your Fool card, new way of being, we must trust that our thoughts are wrong, that there are better ways. Change is often like walking a tightrope blindfolded. Oh, it's like walking a tightrope blindfolded. We have to feel our way through, but we choose to trust the fact that the old way won't take us to the new places we want to go. Yeah, we're not repeating our past here. It's understanding that a lack of trust creates a kink in the hose. It's where the flow goes to die. But if we can follow the gentle or not so gentle tugs life gives us without trying to figure out where we are being led, we are allowing ourselves to flow with life rather than fight the current. There is a channeled song here, and it's Years by Drama. So I don't know the song, but you can look that up if you feel so called, or if you know it and that's a confirmation for you. That is there as well. But I love how that kind of wrapped it all up. Your journey towards self-love that's going to bring the change that will let you manifest this and bring this in, because this is a beautiful relationship and I am so excited for you. But I am going to go ahead and leave you there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you are and you're watching this. If you liked it, it would do me a huge favor if you could go ahead and like it and leave a comment. They are moderated right now because I had some issues, but I still love to see them. So like, comment, subscribe if you want more. And I don't always do this facing the camera. I'm trying it out because in a lot of ways it's easier, but then, I don't want to put my makeup on every day. So you don't get me at my most glamorous. But yeah, anyways, so if you could do those things for me, that would be great. I am trying to build the channel. But regardless, I do hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night. And if this did not resonate, you feel free to choose another group. And I will see you there or in another reading, or maybe I just wasn't for you. I need to pick another reader, and that is fine too. Regardless, take care. Bye-bye. Hi, group 2. If you chose the Portal Keeper as your main card, then this is your reading. Today we're going to find out all about your next healthy, aligned soulmate coming in for you. So we're going to start. I'm starting with the card that you chose, and then we will move on into the tarot. I did pull some oracle cards for you, and then we have some confirmations at the end. But group 1 was really interesting, the way that it came through, and so I'm very excited to see what the message is for you with the Portal Keeper. I am going to read the little short divinatory message at the end of the book for this card because the entries are like really long. So I'm just going to read the little blurb at the end. So because I know some of you guys really don't like reading, but we're going to start with that, kind of get a feel. In the last group, this was kind of like the guiding advice for wherever you are now. This is what you need to do to step into the person who's going to attract this relationship. I hope that makes sense. So, your divinatory message. So, with the Portal Keeper, it says, gently explore the edges of your reality. Spend time in the forest to listen, deepen your meditation practice, dance yourself into ecstasy, explore psychic tools, and study new healing modalities. If you feel lacking in purpose or life seems a little mundane, remember that there is never a reason to be bored. What we experience with our physical senses is just the tip of the iceberg. Magic exists wherever you care to find it. Look between the lines to limitless discovery. Ooh. All right. Well, yeah. So this is about having mystical experiences and exploring the esoteric. So that's interesting. That's what you're being called to do, to step into this. So let's get some tarot and find out all about this person who's your new soulmate, healthy soulmate coming in. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I am pet sitting right now. I'm not at home, hence the different setup. Um, I'm just getting to know this particular dog. I'm familiar with the house, but this dog is being babysat. So we're getting to know each other. I'm not sure what all the ruckus was about. Anyways, but maybe she's just excited for your reading. So tell me about this new soulmate coming in for group twos for the Portal Keeper group. Tell me about this. Give us some cards for group twos. Let's see. Who is this person? Who is the person coming in for group two? This healthy, aligned soulmate connection coming in for group two. Okay, one more card here, please, Spirit. In the last group, Spirit just stopped giving me cards and said, what you have is what you need right now. So that might be these three might be where we need to begin. What's this one? Oh, okay. There. Now we have four. So, forgot to turn my watch off. Okay. So we're starting with the Eight of Cups. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if they were in the right order, but we're going with it. So with the Eight of Cups here, this is someone who has had to walk away from a life they built at some point. And that can look like all sorts of different things. That can look like the ending of a long-term relationship. That can look like a career that they had built and then decided that wasn't where they wanted to be anymore. But this is more relationship because it's cups. So we're talking about leaving something that we had been emotionally invested in, and we've had to walk away from it. And so I'm looking at this figure on the card, kind of looking towards the moon, towards the unknown, and towards the forest. And so I'm thinking this might be someone who likes to spend time outdoors, who gets comfort and peace from spending time in nature. And yeah, because he's got his little hiking stick here. And so this may be someone who hikes or just enjoys outdoor activities, but that's coming through pretty loud. So that's something to know. We have then also the Eight of Pentacles. And so this is someone who knows how to work hard, knows how to build what they want. They work for their money. They might be someone who is quite wealthy or very established in something. After they've walked away from this, I think this is probably someone who focused on their career and really dug in and has put in the work. So like whatever they have, whatever assets they haven't been handed to them. This is someone who is not afraid of the daily grind, basically. And they might be, oh, interesting. So we have the stack of books here. And so they might have studied to get where they are, but there's uh, looks like there's spider webs all over the stack. So whatever they studied, they haven't looked at in a while, and they're busy on the practical aspect of whatever it is they've learned. Because we're looking at yeah, so this drafting table is whatever it is they're working on. And with the little mouse here, I think they might have been in solitude for a while and relied on maybe pets for their, or animals of some kind. It doesn't have to be pets, but for their companionship, basically. Because we have these candles are burned down really low here, and it's late at night, and the mouse has come out from hiding, and he's like, bro, why are you still here? And he's like, but look what I've made. So this feels, oh, and the cherry blossoms out the window. Yeah, this is someone who has really like gone deep into their work, and it has, I think, in some ways, at some point, kind of cut themselves off from the outside world. They're very focused on this thing that they're building. Um, and so I don't know if they're still in that energy when you meet, but this is what came after, right? The Eight of Cups. So we have two eights here. And so they might be actually a very spiritual person with the eights, or a very spiritual number. But this retreat time might have brought them a sense of spiritual clarity, and now they're focused on creating something out of that. So then your next card is the Knight of Pentacles. So this is someone who's going to come in slowly. They're going to monitor every step. They're going to make sure that this is what they want, that they're offering you something of value, that they're getting their ducks in a very particular row here. Not in a like anal retentive way, which, wow, I haven't said that in a while. I haven't even thought that phrase in a minute. Okay, so that's might be a confirmation for someone, but this isn't someone who's like persnickety. It's just that they want to make sure that things are aligned, and they're trying really hard not to get ahead of themselves. And so when they do come in, whatever offer they make is going to be one that they know they can follow through on, right? This isn't someone promising you something that they hope they can deliver only to discover that they don't have it in them. This is someone who absolutely, once they make you an offer, they have full knowledge and a full plan for how they're going to bring this forward. We do have a rabbit here, which usually symbolizes fertility and abundance. So yeah, we already said that they've been working really hard, but with the fertility here, if you're wanting to start a family, that is absolutely coming through here. What is the squirrel doing? Yeah, I do think this is an animal lover. I think this is someone who is peaceful in the energy of animals. This is someone who animals like them. I think they're very harmonious with nature, because we have these prey animals who are not afraid of this knight in armor wandering through with his horse. That's giving a very nurturing kind of energy that animals pick up on. Huh. I think That's all I'm getting there. And then we have the high priestess. And so, we had said earlier that I do think this is someone who is spiritually connected on some level, but probably a profound level if they're getting the high priestess. This is the initials J and B, of course, might be significant. But I do think this is someone who, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. But I do think this is someone who is intuitive, who knows how to tap in to all that is and make decisions on a level of insight that you might not expect from someone in all of this pentacle energy. But like I say, I do, this feels spiritual. This time in the woods from our Eight of Cups, I think feels like there was a spiritual retreat or journey that was very impactful for this person. So we do have cards with both men and women here, so there's no indicator of gender. Whew, what's this? Nine of Wands. Yeah. This might be taking a toll on them. But again, this is still another card of work. This is still another card of pushing through the end of a cycle on your own, carrying it all on your shoulders and doing it anyway. And that's, yeah. So why did this come through? Because we kind of already had that message, Spirit. Just trying to think, what was the next? Interesting. So we've gotten a little bit about your person. So let's find out now how you'll come together. How are you going to meet? We kind of know that, wow. Okay. So timing wise, because that's what I was meaning to ask next and I had forgotten. You will come together when he goes from the knight to the king. And so there is a maturing energy here of an already mature deck. So I think this is, it might take longer. Like this doesn't feel rapid with all of this pentacle energy. This isn't a fast thing that's going to happen for you immediately. Sorry, I know that kind of sucks. But he's busy becoming this King of Pentacles, and he has all of the tools, right? He has everything in him to do this. And so this is, I think, your timing card. As for where you'll meet, we have the Four of Cups. Right now, I'm getting divine timing, right? The divine is offering this cup to the person who's already got three. But this will happen when it's aligned. But you might meet at a party with cups. Cups always make me think party. You might meet on a plant medicine retreat. We got mushrooms here. So if any of you are called in that direction, that might be a location. There's a grasshopper here. Interesting. What does the grasshopper signify, Spirit? – It's like youth. Like I'm thinking, I'm hearing, the old. Oh, what is it from? I can't even think. It's just always referenced all the time that grasshopper is the learner, the student. And so there might be an education connection here, or you might meet them in a class of some kind. I'm also thinking of how grasshoppers molt. And so there might be a transformation here indicated into either how you'll meet them or what needs to happen for you to meet them. But there's a significant transformation, a letting go of the old, a shedding that will happen for either or both of you before you meet, or will happen because of your meeting. Okay. Let me get cards here, Spirit, about, the Knight of Wands. Is this upright or reversed? Ooh, hold on. Let's see. Okay. So, goodness. There is going to be passion here. I know we've had a lot of pentacles, and that's very grounded, practical energy, but I do think there is passion in this connection. We've got the volcano back there going off, and so you can take that for whatever metaphor you want it to be right now. So you might meet in an environment that maybe is more geared to this kind of energy. It kind of feels like you're both trying to get out of your comfort zone for whatever reason. And that brings you together. Ooh, that's interesting. Tell me more, Spirit. Are we still good on this deck, or do we need another deck? I had to switch decks in the middle of the last group. And with all of this pentacle energy, I'm not getting as much of... But now we do. Yeah, see, I think this is confirmation. This is... There will be passion here. Okay. So you might meet if you meet in a class, it might be a kind of a hands-on healing class, or anything that really that involves your hands. So it could be something like Reiki or massage, but it could also be like a pottery class or something where you are creating something with your hands. You can totally see that. What are you telling me with the Nine of Swords? Why is there anxiety? Always fascinating Nine of Swords card for me, because we have the figure in bed, but then we have the one kind of floating up here with the swords. And so what is this about, Spirit? How is this about their soulmate relationship? There is a sense of unknown here. Between this and the High Priestess, there is a sense of being directed behind the scenes, I think, is what I'm trying to get at here. That there is kind of like angelic guidance or ancestral guidance like happening in the spirit realm that is bringing this together. And I think that if you're someone who is drawn to all of this grounded, stable energy, that can give you anxiety because of all of the unseen things. Thank you, Spirit. Let's switch decks. Let's find out what you're going to think of this person. What is your first impression of them going to be? Hanged Man in reverse. Ooh. Okay, so there's a couple of things coming through here. I think you're going to read them in a way that they're not. Your perspective on them. You're either going to read them really well, or you're going to make an assumption that's going to require you to change your perspective. And I know that's two opposite things, but this is a general reading. So it's not an individual reading, it's for a group. And so that will be probably different for both of you. I mean, for each of you, both of you. Maybe there's only 2 people watching this group. My channel is new. That is possible. So yeah, the other message coming through with the Hanged Man in reverse is that this meeting is going to get you in some way unstuck. Because the Hanged Man is a pause. And so you turned it upside down and it's movement again. Right? We've been enlightened, sort of. And so we're moving forward. And so I think there might be a big aha moment here. Goodness. The Hermit. Why are you getting the Hermit? The Hanged Man and the Hermit. What's happening? Hanged Man in reverse of the Hermit. Which, they're both enlightenment cards, right? Hermit is going within. The Hanged Man is getting a different perspective. This is the Virgo Pisces axis. This is the Virgo Pisces axis. That's for somebody. I do think this relationship will change your perspective on yourself, on relationships, on life in a very dramatic way. But it's not going to be a quick thing, right? Both of these cards indicate a pause. They both indicate time away from the grind. And so, that could be So yeah, again, we said it was possible that you were meeting on a retreat. I think that there is retreat energy here, regardless of whether that's where you meet. There is a meditative inner work kind of, it's the energy driving this. It's a really interesting, this is why you're being called into more esoteric forms of knowledge, into more exploration of the edges of reality with your Portal Keeper card. Tell me more about this relationship, Spirit. We were asking how you were going to feel. I think you might see them as a loner, but as a wise loner. And so that might be too. It's like they might not register to you as a romantic option, because you don't really think they go out enough to be even looking for a relationship. What is this person, what is group two's person going to think of them? What's their impression going to be of this person? They know they want to be really stable for you, but what's their opinion here of my group? Okay. No, yeah. You're a mystery. You're a mystery to them. And still they feel like they've known you before. Or maybe they have. That's possible. Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a sense of nostalgia, right? But the moon is a card of illusions, of not knowing what's real or not, of having to kind of walk this dark path and trust your intuition. And so I think they see you as very mysterious, and somehow you still feel like home, and they're very intrigued by you. Interesting. So we said this was going to take a while because he has to go from the Knight of Pentacles to the Queen of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. Hello. And that's not gendered. There's no gender in tarot. But the Knight and the King this is a gendered deck. That's all that means. There is a lot of masculine energy on the table. Like, yes, we have the Moon and the High Priestess and this Nine of Swords, but the rest is all. So this is very likely someone who initiates when they want something. This is not someone who magnetizes so that they can sit back and receive. Put it that way. Oh, that's a message. So, yeah. So these weave their way in. In the last reading, they just kind of asked to be shown when they were asked to be shown. So we do have sexuality here. Someone's still figuring themselves out. So there could be, the reason there could be so much masculine energy on the table could be because this is a same-sex relationship, and both identify as masculine. That's totally welcome. And then we did have this confirmation here in this one that this is going to take its time. It's not the right time for this to come through right now. Where are we at? Ooh, goodness. Okay. What do we have? We have the Nine of Swords again, the Three of Swords in reverse, and the Hierophant. So there's Taurus energy. Taurus, Virgo, Pisces. I know that person. So yeah, again, we have religious study, like formal religious study. But we have that after this second Nine of Swords. What are you overthinking? Or someone's overthinking. But they just really said, I said what I said. I mean, that's like really feeling pressure. Mental. Okay. So the other card we got was the Three of Swords in reverse. We're healing from heartbreak here. But I really want to find out more. Spirit, tell me about this Nine of Swords. Tell me more about this Nine of Swords. Who's anxious and why are they anxious? They're anxious because things keep flying away from them. Anyway, let me grab that. Okay, we're back. You feel like this isn't coming. Yeah. you feel like this isn't coming. This is the Four of Wands. This is the celebration card. This is the marriage card. This is the wedding. And I think one or both of you is afraid that you're not going to get that. That this relationship is not coming. It's taken so long. This is giving biological clock ticking. This is giving, I want kids and I'm running out of time to have them. For those of you who can have children and want them, but it's also just, I mean, we all want, most of, not all, but most of us like the idea of having a partner, of having the celebration, the celebrated union with someone who's healthy for us. And if you didn't want that, why would you be in this reading? So I think the anxiety is that you are afraid that that's not for you. But it's here, it's just slow. And I know how tedious that is. Trust your girl is 44 and single. I get it. But this is, with this Three of Swords in reverse, this heartbreak will heal. Okay? Yeah. Is there anything else we need to know about the soulmate here, Spirit? Ooh, that's a lot. Do we need all those? Yes, I heard yes. Okay. Oh, and now we have the Four of Cups in reverse. I think you're going to ground yourself. I think you're going to focus on the life that you have and not the one that's in the mirror. Maybe redirect your energy into filling these cups instead of focusing so much on this vision that you have that's not here. Yeah. Wow, that came through. Okay. Because there is clarity here with your Ace of Swords. There is a new, yeah, there's an insight here and a new journey. Intellectual pursuit. Maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you're just focusing on getting your life in a where you want it. Yeah, there is a clarity here. And we have then the Knight of Wands. And you might have something temporary in the meantime that will help refine your idea of what you're looking for. Yeah, that's what I'm getting with that. But I think you're going to have clarity. Oh, that's the other thing. Okay, see, Spirit's like, you're not done. You're going to have clarity about probably a Knight of Wands in your past. You're gonna get this the truth about someone who I think left you feeling heartbroken. And you're going to realize that was never going to be the fulfilling relationship that the King of Pentacles is going to be. Right? This guy's coming in, wand forward, ready to hit it and quit it. This guy wouldn't ever. He is so solid and so stable. Sorry, I just touched my microphone. I hope that wasn't freakishly loud on your end. I'll try to edit it out if it was. Nope, let me call it here. Yeah, this is the end of deception, including self-deception. I think because you have this anxiety, because you're feeling pressured to settle down and get in and find the relationship that's going to be your relationship, I think you've had a tendency, to settle, to take these Knights of Wands who come in because they're there and they look available. And so you try to convince yourself that that's what you want, that's what you need, that's who you're going to be with, and they keep breaking your heart. And so when this comes in, they're not deceiving you. And I think you know that. I think this insight that you are gaining over this time is going to help you recognize. We said that we had that hanged man. Where'd he go? I know. Yeah, we had the enlightenment. Aha, this is what I've been looking for. And it was never going to be this guy. All right. I think I'm going to end this part of the reading there. We will go into confirmations, and then at the very end, we're going to get your other oracle cards that I was saving for the end for advice. I was only trying to get one, but you guys got two. And so I'm really interested to see what those have to say. The last group, they kind of just tied together the whole reading, and that was really cool. So, yeah. All right, so some confirmations here. These are, characteristics and locations and things like that. My little handmade deck here with my dodgy handwriting. But we're just going to see. So tell me, Spirit, about group twos. What can we know about group twos? Soulmate. And these can be about you or them. They're, like I say, they're confirmations. So if they're about you, that helps you know you're in the right group. They might be about your other person. If they don't resonate at all, then don't take them. This is just extra. It's kind of just a little bit of fun. Yeah. So tell us about group twos. Soulmate. Sorry, I'm getting punchy. Okay. Are we like not? Is the high priestess be like, you don't get to know? All right. We're going to try it a different way. We're going to go. We have South Asia. We have tattoos. We have honey blonde hair. We have large body. We have dimple or dimples. We have Western Europe. Very short or very tall, or that could just be that you have a big height gap. Light eyes. Piercing eyes. Or possibly a monolid eyelid. And textured hair. So take those if those are for you. If they're not, like I said, don't worry about it. We're going to get a few numbers, see if we can't get a little more information. So what do we have? We have 3, 5, 5. We have 8 and 80 again. So there's the 4 and 6. So we have 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 8, and 80. And so the way this works, these can be ages, birthdays, dates of any kind, addresses, phone numbers, postal codes, you name it, that can be here. You can combine them as much as you like. So, like 3/4 could be March 4th, or 4/3, April 3rd, 4/5, April 5th, 5. So, May 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, any of those things, you can add them together. So, 55 or 56, 63, 34, 38, any of those things. With the 80, what I've been doing with these is birth years. So we have 88, 86, 85, 84, 83. Any of those things. But like I say, those are the numbers. You can combine them in any way that makes sense to you. And take it or leave it, basically, if it doesn't. These can also be your zodiac stuff. So, like zodiac houses here would be Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Scorpio. Yes. But you can also do the ones associated with that birthday. So that would be what? Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and August is Leo and Virgo. Doesn't really narrow it down too much, but if that helps you, that helps you. But I am going to leave you there. If you liked this reading, if you found it helpful, I would love it if you could leave a like, comment. Comments are moderated, but I will approve them when I see them. Like, comment, subscribe if you want more. If this did not resonate at all, I would love to see you in another group maybe, or another reading, or maybe I'm just not the reader for you, and that is also totally fine. I cannot be for everybody. But regardless, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are, and take care. Bye-bye. No, group 2, come back. Don't leave. I forgot your oracles. So let's get into those. You have 2. You have balance. There you are. And you have mystery. We did have that with the moon. So let's see what the Empyrean Oracle has to say for you. So sorry, I totally got into my flow. I don't usually have oracles at the end, so that is my fault. Balance 85. So for balance, we have the pendulum will keep swinging. Our lives will always be in flux, which is to say we will never achieve sustained balance. But perhaps we don't want balance. Maybe what we want is to have enough room to hold it all. Balance is the art of acknowledging both the good and the bad. It's not insisting on peace, but living with space for nuance, allowing for two polar opposites to exist together. When people say they want balance in their lives, what they really want is to feel balanced, to feel content and in harmony, grounded and stable. This neutrality can be found in non-reactivity, of not getting swept up or reactive, just letting life unfold and responding in the best way you know how. Our first instinct is often to categorize things, good versus bad, healthy versus unhealthy, right versus wrong. But life and we ourselves are often everything. All of it exists within us. It is when we can accept this that we feel balanced. So that's interesting. That might be something that you explore as you start, doing your esoteric exploration. There's a channeled song with this card, and it's Labyrinthine by Juliana Barwick. So you can look that up if you're interested. And then your second card is Mystery, And that is right here too. That's 90. It's interesting. In both of the main oracle decks here that are numbered, you got cards at the very end of the deck. And I think that you've already probably done so much inner work. And so you're just being called to go that extra step because you're already so advanced in this work. And that's just something that came through right now for those of you who stayed for this part. So, mystery. Do not try to strain your eyes. Let the picture come into focus on its own time, in its own time. It's a practice, coaxing our eagerness to sleep and letting ourselves just enjoy the unfolding. But imagine you were the first person to see the northern lights, standing in the bitter cold with otherworldly colors dancing around you. You likely wouldn't jump to trying to figure out what they were. You would sit in awe. Let yourself be that in awe of your own life. Let yourself lose language and logic and conclusions and see it all with your eyes wide. Be curious. Let yourself take wrong turns, hit the dead ends, double back a couple of times. Embrace the mystery. You will never have it all figured out. Relish in that. That's rad. I like that one. And the channeled song here is Dirge by Death and Vegas. All right, then. So now I'm actually going to finish your reading. Thank you for those of you who stayed for this. I hope this was helpful. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi, Group 3. Welcome to your reading today, all about your next healthy soulmate relationship. If you chose the gracious receptivity card, then you are in the right place. If you've seen the rest of the video, you know that I am filming this on a different day from groups 1 and 2. I just ran out of time and I wanted to not cut yours short. So I am coming back to this on another day and let's get into it. So I'm starting the reading by looking at the card you chose. And then I have pre-pulled some other oracle cards that we will get to throughout the reading. I will obviously pull from the tarot. We have confirmations at the end, and I'm hoping this is going to be a more thorough reading than I sometimes usually do. So they've been lasting about 45 minutes, so they're not like your multi-hour ones, but they're a little bit longer than most of my readings. So first, let's look at the card that you chose. So you chose gracious receptivity, and I am not reading the many paragraphs from the thing. I'm just reading the divinatory meaning. My apologies if you don't like me reading from the book, but this has kind of been setting the tone. It's a little bit of an energy check in a way, but it's also advice for who you need to be, what the work that you need to do to prepare for the relationship that's coming in. It's not saying you're not doing the work, but this is just a little bit of a message, usually around that. In the last 2 groups, anyways, that's kind of been the vibe. So it says, consider your relationship with gratitude, how comfortable you feel receiving, and what you love to give. Are there themes that allow you the joyous overflow of giving without limitation? How can you add this to the lives of others more often, away from the fear that you will get used up if you give without guaranteed reciprocity? Are there areas where you are overextending yourself? Can you give more from areas where you are stronger and have more skill and capacity? Right now, you may feel you have little to give. If so, allow yourself to receive more. The gift of the sun on your face on a winter's day or a compliment from a stranger, allow yourself to drink every drop. After all, it is up to you how deeply you wish to drink of the gift that is shared. Often, we take only a little sip even when there is so much more we could appreciate. And yet, it is beautiful when you give to someone and they light up and receive it fully. Gratitude, self-love, and self-worth are interwoven with the capacity to receive. Together, they nourish your soul. Step into your heart space by listing all you are grateful for and notice how full you start to feel. From this place, your giving capacity can spiral upward. So, whew, that's kind of a lot. I mean, aside from the, practice gratitude thing that I think many of us who have existed in especially online spaces in the spiritual community are tired of hearing how grateful we need to be, or at least go through that phase. But I love it's not just about gratitude, it's about practicing becoming a receptive person. And that, I think, is much harder to do, and also more appealing. Like, of course, I want to be someone who knows how to receive, with gracious receptivity. But I want to, if there are things in this life that I want that I don't have, and I'm not able to receive them, then I'm the one in my own way. And, recognizing that, and then recognizing that practicing gratitude can be a tool to help you get there. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a good reframe. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that there, and we are going to get into your tarot. We're going to find out who this person is, who is your next healthy soulmate. We're going to find out. I have a couple of tarot decks here, and mostly I'm following the energy, but I am trying to ask some more pointed questions instead of doing the more general vibes of the situation. So we'll see what comes through. So, Spirit, tell me about the soulmate. Okay, the soulmate. Ooh, 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 group 3. Group 3. First two cards that came out were the Emperor and the Empress. So, next, healthy soulmate. And then we had the Star. These three all came out together. Oh, I'm going to have to censor her. We had the Star. And yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, so Emperor and Empress, that this is the pairing, right? So y'all are both fully in your power, fully in both your receptivity and your proactivity. Like, these are people who complement each other perfectly, made for each other, divine counterparts, however you want to frame this. Like, this is the power couple. Okay? Like, And, unlike the Hierophant and the High Priestess, these are really the ones who have mastered this earthly plane. Not that it's not a spiritual connection, because it obviously is, but it's not primarily a spiritual connection. So sometimes the Hierophant and the High Priestess as a couple, there's something ethereal about that spiritual connection that isn't always as grounded as we might want it to be. And so this is your grounded pairing, which means it's going to have very real world 3D impacts on your lives coming together in this way. And it's going to be something very tangible. I'm just going to leave it there for now. And I might come back to that. Then with the Star here, apologies to the beautiful artwork. YouTube doesn't like that bit. But with the Star here, this is hope and healing and a light in the darkness. And, in general, this is the here. This is the water bearer, right? It's this card associated with the sign of Aquarius. And there's a lot of responsibility with being the water bearer, with being not of water, but the one called to carry it. I don't know why is that coming through, Spirit? That's not usually where I go with this card. That's fascinating. Um, so, okay, let me back up. With the star, I do think this might be a connection that comes in for you after a dark period of time. And it will be the light that helps you heal in some way. Not saying that you can't heal on your own, because obviously you can, whether you're the emperor or the empress, whoever you identify with, or the energy in between, everyone is welcome here, right? But this connection in some way is going to be very healing for you. And I think through it, through this energy that you have together, I think you'll be using that to heal the world, others, have an impact on your community or the world or your family or whatever it is that you're building together is going to be a healing thing. Okay. Sorry, I usually pull 4 cards before I start talking, but those were so big that I left it there. Let me get one more, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into these cards before we really take off. But something that's coming through, because this is a Ciro Marchetti deck. The initials C and M are in every card on some level, but those might be initials that are important to you or not. What's this? All right, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, and we have the Ten of Cups on the bottom. All right. So I know this is like a fantasy landscape here with the Emperor, but it always makes me think of Italy for whatever. I think I'm seeing the Ponte Vecchio or something like here with this bridge. Like in my mind is turning it into that, and it's not what it is. But anyways, my mind is just making this Italy. So that might be something for somebody. Huh. So yeah, this reading has me examining these cards in a very different way than I usually do. So let's look at it. Let's look at this Emperor. We have a receding hairline, so no judgment on this, but this might be an older connection. Like you might be more mature when you come into this energy. This is a card associated with Aries, and we do have the zodiac animals here behind him. I'm looking at him carrying a scroll and a mat of some kind. I'm wondering if that's a prayer mat. Anyways, and an sharp implement of some kind. But yeah, that just kind of goes with this Emperor energy of like kind of having mastered all of the aspects of life. But his feet are kind of disappearing here, and so that's kind of, as an Aries energy, this isn't necessarily the most grounded card in the deck. But all this red, it's very fiery, very passionate. If you know about the characteristics of the zodiac, Aries energy has no chill, knows where they're going, and just needs everybody to get out of their way so they can get there. And that's, it's of course much more nuanced in that, but that's kind of what we initially think of, right? When we think of Aries, there's a lot more to it. It is a creative energy, it's a cardinal sign. It's the one that gets things moving, starts a season, has all of the energy to it and the dynamism. So there's that. So this, I'm having a hard time. I cannot separate these two. I can talk about them individually, but I'm being stopped from saying these are characteristics about your person because these are characteristics of the connection. And I don't know if it's because you guys have been together for so many lifetimes or this is giving, I don't ever get twin flame vibes as much as I do from this. This is an inseparable, like I cannot distinguish energy here. Because it's like you've been together for so long, like you are, like that, the myth of soulmates was that one person, what is it? It's Plato, isn't it? That like once upon a time people had two heads and four arms and four legs and all of that, and at some point they got split, and that's where the idea of soulmates comes from. That is what I'm getting here. Like, you can try to separate them, but it's 100% not. And I know this is a soulmate reading, so that should be, but this is more. And that's why I brought in the label that I know we don't all love. But that's why I'm explaining what I mean by it here. I'm not talking about, the toxic journey that it took you to get here, and nor am I talking about it necessarily being bliss from the first sight. I'm talking about the fact that your energies are inseparable. And I'm going to stop beating that dead horse. Okay. So the Empress here. So we usually think of her as Taurus or Libra. Obviously, it's a Venusian energy. With fertility here with the rabbit, and gentleness here with the deer. Transformation, though, too, with the butterfly. And we've got, there's a bird of some kind here, but it's not one I'm super familiar with. So if that means anything to you, then by all means, take that. Oh, but they're so... Yeah, like I say, obviously the compatibility here is off the charts. We talked about with the star, the water bearer, and I think it's the responsibility that you will feel to use your union as a healing entity, both for yourselves and for others. Is there anything else here? Okay, I'm going to move on. So the Knight of Pentacles is an odd energy to come for me. I'm going, why? Because, the first thing I think of in a love reading with the Knight of Pentacles is that this is coming in slowly. And, with the maturity of the Emperor here, and we said this, that, you both might be in a more mature phase of life, a little older than, society says is when you should find your person. Which we don't buy into that on this channel. So sorry if that disappoints you. But so that could just be that this is coming in slowly because you've had to wait. And, you might have been holding out for something like this. I can feel that here. Being drawn to the Empress kind of looking down here at these things, but not, it's like, it feels like she's trying to focus on what she has. Waiting for the right connection to come along. And, in these powerful relationships like that, when you have an intuitive or a soul knowledge of something like this, it can be very hard to settle for something less when this is what you're being called into. um, 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck is, the ultimate happiness card, and I think that's fairly self-explanatory here. But I do think, there's, yes, there's abundance and there's joy, but they're also, they're doing hobbies together. I think you and your soulmate who's coming in are going to enjoy spending leisure time together. It's not going to be all work, as might be suggested, by the fact that you are both very powerful in your own right, that you are, both determined to use your union for the good of others, and yet, they're knitting or whatever. Let's see, she's knitting, and sorry, my eyes do not want to focus today. Knitting and embroidery, whatever, but it doesn't have to be those. That's a confirmation for somebody, though, if you're into that. But they're just, doing their yes, it's productive, but they're having a good time. They're hanging out. They're talking. They're, the companionship here. That's the word. Thank you, Spirit. The companionship here is phenomenal, and I love that energy for you. Let's get some more. There, Spirit, tell me more about the soulmate relationship coming in for group 3. Ooh, okay. 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, very balanced. Very balanced. Again, between the two of you, but also between you and the world. Like there's a lot of generosity because you are so abundant. There's yeah, it's like you the phrase that's coming through right now is you are stewarding your money well, by which I mean that you feel so abundant that of course you're helping others. Of course you are using your abundance to feed others, to support others, to patronize others, to, this is like, it's coming through like philanthropy between you and the world, but also as between the two of you, you're very generous with each other. No one is overgiving. Both of you feel supported. Yeah. In this card, they have him weighing them to make sure they're the same weight, maybe both genuine. And, the 6 of Pentacles can be a complicated card. It can be over concerned with not giving more than you're getting, kind of thing. That can be here. But we do have all of these coins falling into the hands of those who need it, who have an open hand for it. So what is the message here, Spirit? There's wisdom. There's wisdom in this. There's discernment. But not in a scarcity way, not in a way where you're afraid of giving too much to someone who doesn't deserve it. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like this weighing is out of fear. I think it's just out of fairness and respect for yourselves and proper boundaries around your money. But again, ultimately, this is a card of generosity. And so this is not, this is not the hoarding energy that it could be because the card is upright. So, let's see. Oh, wow. That meant it. All right. Queen of Cups. Yeah, this isn't a person. Most usually court cards I say are a person, but in this one, it's more of the energy of nurturing. I think there is going to, thank you, Spirit, receptivity. There is a receptive, nurturing energy here. And I think that's probably why, you chose this card. Because until you've mastered receiving in the way, so the queens are really, they're very nurturing, they're very loving, they're very romantic. And it's not that they're not giving, but queens, as the feminine, quote unquote, feminine principle, are a receptive energy, like the empresses. So for me, the Queen of Cups has a meaning of knowing how to receive love from somebody else. And that's kind of what we talked about with this card. And so this is, I think, Spirit reiterating that this is the thing that this is the aspect of you that will be required for this relationship. Spirit, we're focusing so much on the reader. Can you please tell me about who is coming in for them? We're learning all about the reader and all about, what they need to do. And that's great. We love that. But who is this person coming in? Six of Wands. So this is someone who might be in the public eye. Someone very celebrated in the public eye, at the top of their game. Thank you, Spirit. Victorious in whatever endeavors they have, taken in the world. Tell me more about this person coming in for group 3s, please. This healthy soulmate coming in. Okay. This is someone who has spent a lot of time on their own. They've gone within. I think they've done the inner work. So, which would make sense with the Emperor. Okay. Then we have the Eight of Wands and the King of Wands in reverse. Interesting. So we talked before about the Emperor's fiery energy. I think there might be, for this person, is this current, Spirit? Oh, that's why. Okay. So right now, and I only think we're getting right now because you might already know this person. This person might already be someone you know. And they're, you wouldn't recognize them yet as this necessarily. There is a distorted sense of passion here. a distorted leadership energy. It's like this is the Leo who is still making everything about themselves instead of using their light to shine on other people. Does that make sense? Like if you, so Leo energy is the sun energy, and these are the people who generally seek out the spotlight. For whatever reason, they're called to it. It's like very natural for them. It's like I say, they're called to the spotlight, and that is kind of the beginning of the Leo journey. But if they never learn that the sun shines on everything and everyone else except for the person who, yeah, then they get into this energy of needing attention, of needing to be the center of attention, of feeling entitled to the admiration that they receive. And so right now, I think this person is in this distorted energy, because when I asked whether this was now or before, I got the Seven of Pentacles. And this is a card of waiting. It's a card of patience. It's a card of not harvesting before it's time. And so I think this might be where they are now. And while you're working on receiving the kind of love that you really want, they're going to be working on that. That's why they're going within with the Hermit. That's part of, that's maybe not like consciously why they're going in, but that will be the effect of them going in, is that they will be learning how to shine their light more on others without feeling like it takes from them. Yeah. And then the Eight of Wands is a card of rapid communication. And I think when they're done, when they've done this, they're immediately coming towards you. Because this is their work that's standing in the way of this already being in union. Because like I say, this feels like something that there would be, you would both have some sense that you have probably been trying to ignore, but some sense that there's something wrong, there's something off, there's something missing, and that coming together resolves. Not that you're not whole on your own, but it's like, you know, there's something you're meant to be doing that you can't do alone. And there is a sense of completion, or maybe it's more fulfillment that you get around this person, but it's like it never stuck before. Like you've been around them and it felt almost right, but there were then in real world practical terms, like there was always conflict or tension that you couldn't resolve because you couldn't receive the kind of love that you knew you deserved from this person, and they couldn't stop thinking about themselves for long enough to understand. So this is the work that you're doing that's going to be bringing this in. That's why they're focusing so much on you and what you're doing. Okay. So there's a good likelihood that this person, so one of you has a lot of fire. I'm going to say it's your person, has a lot of fire in their chart or somewhere predominantly in their chart, and that looks like you have more earth or water or something. Like, yeah, that's that, you know, the Emperor Empress sort of energy there. Okay, that's a no. So time to switch decks. Looks like your reading is going to be the longest of all of them, and I don't know if that is because I am not channeling as smoothly today. I'm tired, so that's probably part of it. But also, this is such big energy, and putting it into words, like at the best of times, is not always easy for me. I don't have an inner monologue. I get vibes, and then I have to try and translate what those vibes mean. And that's like, on a random Tuesday, not in a tarot reading. So when I'm channeling, and the energy is big like this, it can be really challenging for me to articulate it in a way that makes sense in the English language and not as an energetic transmission solely. So, okay, tell me, what are we doing first here? Tell me what this person, what this soulmate, their first impression, what is the soulmate's first impression of my viewer? Oh, they see you. They see you. You got the Queen of Cups in reverse. And we said this Queen of Cups was the energy that you were needing to work on to bring this together. It's also fascinating to me that this self-centered kind of energy can get out of their head enough to really see you. If you've never been like clocked so deeply by someone who had no business seeing through you, that is that's a weird experience. In my experience, that's very confronting, and so that's fascinating. It's also fascinating to me that they're seeing you as, because okay, so seeing you as the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups in reverse. Reversals mean that the potential for the upright is there, and so they know that you are a Queen of Cups. So they don't just see the distortion, because you can't with these cards. You can't focus on the distortion without understanding that the true energy is also there. So yeah, I think, yeah, they're seeing both. I think they see your potential to be the Queen of Cups, but they know you're not there. Wow. Why they gotta call you out like that? That's rude. But also, when that kind of energy turns around, it can be incredibly intimate when someone sees you that deeply and is choosing you. That's one of the oracle cards you got here. Sexual chemistry, reminiscing, intimacy. So I do think that aspect of the connection will be incredible. Just like I say, when someone sees you that deeply, generally the chemistry carries a lot more fulfillment, satisfaction than technique alone ever could. I'm just gonna leave it right there. What's this? What wants to come out here? Okay, so we're asking about their impression of you. I think they think you're guarded. But yeah, they do sense this Ten of Pentacles, this ultimate fulfillment, ultimate happiness. Like that potential is there. Yeah, this is someone who can see clearly when they get their head out of their own butt. Ooh, that's a lot, Spirit. What are we taking? We're taking... Okay. Yeah. I love when the tarot says, I said what I said. I think you help them see, in some way, I think you help them see that they are the King of Wands in reverse. I think you are a mirror for their distortion as much as they see through you. Listen, I know there are like archetypes that are consistent across tarot, but let's just admire for a second the similarity in these two cards from completely different artists. Yeah. At least this one's wearing his crown. Anyway, that's wild. So yeah, you are definitely showing him. He sees you, but he also sees himself more clearly through you, and that's fascinating. Oh my gosh, you guys. So yeah, we have the death. There is a transformation that will take place both of you and both of you, but also in your connection with each other. And then you got the World and the 10 of Cups again, because this is the ultimate be all end all relationship of all relationships. All right. So let's find out, where are they going to reconnect? Yes. Knight of Wands in reverse. Why is that a reversal? Knight of Wands in reverse. So the Knight of Wands is a super fast energy, and I think that's why it's reversed. Because you have your King of Wands energy distorted, the desire to come towards you is not happening because it can't yet, because it's not aligned yet. So yes, we got that message, Spirit. So, but where and or when? We know it's not coming fast, but what does it look like? How about that? We'll keep it that a little more general. When they reconnect, where might they reconnect? Spirit, group 3 and their person. 10 of Wands. So you could meet at work, or you could be, one or both of you could be kind of wrapping up the end of a project, a creative project that you've been working on, or a work project, like something you've poured blood, sweat, and tears into here. And you're nearing the end, but you're not there yet. So you've got a lot to carry. So it sounds like it's not the ideal timing to meet someone. Of course, Spirit, we know that the universe loves to do that anyways. What else can we know here? Oh, so I am drawn to the mushrooms here. We had them in something else too. So if anyone is into plant medicine of the mushroom variety, that might be an indicator of where you might meet. You know, some of the retreats around that kind of work can be very hard work, very intense energy of work. What else? Tower. Okay, so since we're asking where, you could be, traveling or on vacation or somewhere where there are castles and towers and where you're visiting sites like that. And that could be anywhere. I mean, that could be anything from Disney to Europe to, excuse me, I mean, there's castles everywhere, right? So, because they're an archetype. So there's that. We also have dragon. Oh no. I'm being drawn to the dragon. You might meet at Ren Fair. That's possible. But you also might meet when one or both of you is having a moment of enlightenment, or it will feel like a moment of enlightenment, certainly, when you do finally come together and as like a couple. It will probably feel like a tower. But yeah, because this doesn't, I was like, you could be going through a tower moment in your life, but I really don't think that's it. Because I think this is more about the enlightenment aspect of a relationship, of coming together with a soulmate this intense. Okay. So you might meet at a party. Um, again, I'm again getting kind of plant medicine or vision quest or it's kind of shamanic journeys that we take, because the Seven of Cups is about dreams and illusions, and often there's clarity that comes through about those, but through those. Um, so there's that. Four of Cups. Yeah, I'm gonna say party again, but like cocktail party, formal party. This, I'm not reading this as the Four of Cups so much as I'm seeing it as kind of the like a vanity table where you're like putting your makeup on and getting ready for some glamorous event. So that's what I get from that. King of Pentacles. There is possibly, yeah, an older, wealthy man who brings you together in some way. You could be visiting Scandinavia with this aesthetic. Um, yeah, I'm really getting like the Nordic countries here. Um, Fascinating. Anyways, okay. So that'll be for somebody, and I don't know whether that means that your person is from there, or you're traveling there, or you know someone who is from there and they are somehow bringing you together. Let's find out, Spirit. What is my viewer thinking of this person? What's my viewer think of this person? Ooh. Ooh. That was... Huh. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So I pulled the Justice. Oh, actually, no, the Justice fell out, and I'm not sure about it. Because I was like, do you think they're a fair person? Because I can't imagine that you would. So that doesn't really, that doesn't seem to be it. Unless they're like a lawyer or a judge or working in somewhere in the legal judicial system somewhere, and you find them to be very fair in their job. That they have this ability to be very discerning professionally. That makes sense. That's for somebody. Um, and I think because you see that they can do that, their King of Wands in reverse thing is very confusing to you. So that's coming through. Then we had the Hierophant and the Three of Wands in reverse. And so, yeah, I think they can be very arrogant, very stubborn, not as grounded as you would hope they would be. But it's like they've chosen this Hierophant in reverse feels like they're standing on business on all the wrong things. Like the traditions that they've decided to be loyal to are the harmful ones and not the ones that would lead to their fulfillment or liberation. And then Three of Wands in reverse. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is just, you're seeing this. Again, you are seeing them for who they are. But because they're not aligned with themselves, I think that's really what you're picking up on here. So, like, because the Three of Wands upright would be ships coming in, someone who had like manifested this thing that they wanted, and they planted the seeds and they'd made a decision and now they were getting it. And I think this person is just a little stuck. I think you're seeing them as a little stuck. So again, this really feels like someone you are aware of at least at some point, and you're not seeing, you're both seeing each other clearly, and you both know that you're not ready. What is on the bottom of the deck here? We have the Emperor again. Yeah, you know that this is who this person is. That they're just in their own way, and they can absolutely be the Emperor. And under that, we have the Four of Wands. So, yeah. Your other Oracle card here is Let Go. And I think there feels like there's so much frustration where you're at right now between you. You're both seeing each other as not in alignment. And I do think because you have such a strong energy together, that it's hard for you to walk away, but you're being asked to let go for now, because this is obviously coming back around. You got the 10 of Cups twice. You got the Emperor twice. You know, there's so many confirmations here. Oh yeah, the Seven of Pentacles came out twice, because this fell out of the deck and I wasn't sure if that was, but no. Patience. The seeds are planted, but you cannot harvest them before it's time. Yeah. All right. Let's get you a few confirmations. These will be locations, characteristics. We'll do a few numbers that could be whatever you want them to be. And then we do have one final card of the energy to kind of lean into. Served a different purpose in groups 1 and 2. So we'll see what comes through for you. Spirit, can we get confirmations, please, for group 3? This is definitely the longest of the 3 readings. If you are still here with me, thank you very much. Silver, white, or gray hair. So yeah, we did say this was a more later stage of life group, so that makes sense. But they could dye it too, because that's a fun look. Clean cut. What else, Spirit? Confirmations for group 3. And these can apply to you or them. Salt and pepper hair. Yeah. I love it when they're that. I said what I said. Hazel eyes. Nice hands. Love that. few more confirmations here. So yeah, yeah. Well, we have the Arctic Council, Arctic Circle. It's the group of countries that the coalition of countries, sort of ish group of countries, council that kind of borders the Arctic Circle and has a say. For those of you who don't know, and we did mention with this guy that there might be a connection to the Scandinavian, Nordic um, countries, and we have colorful hair. What do we have? Australia. So we didn't get really too many locations. We have monolid, Central Africa, West Asia. This is known by many to be the Middle East, but the Middle East is a very Eurocentric, problematic term. So we say West Asia. And piercings. Okay, and now we're done. Let's get the numbers. Okay. We have 1, 4, 5, 5, 6, 10, and 14. So you can mix and match these as you need to. These can be angel numbers, they can be birth dates, they can be just dates that are important to you, they can be zip codes, postal codes, phone numbers, addresses. If you want them to be zodiac, this is, well, so wait, if you want them to be months, we have January, April, May, June, October. If you want them to be zodiac, we have Aries, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Capricorn. And then the 14, you can do what you like with. But okay, let's read your last oracle card. We have Hearth. There it is. And I am going to go to the book here and read this. This also includes a channeled song for those of you who like that. That's just part of the way they wrote this book, which I think is a lot of fun. Hearth 33. There's another number for somebody. I haven't said that in the other two groups, so that's for somebody. Okay, Hearth. The hearth calls us home. It is the golden glow in the middle of winter, the heat that warms us when our bones are cold, the love that stitches us back up. Yeah, there's your star energy, that healing. Some of you have always had this. You grew up with arms you could retreat into. Many of you did not. You had to learn to build your own home. The hearth is asking you to gather yourself, nurture the feeling of home, of comfort, of relaxed play, of security. Reach out to those who can echo this warmth back. So few people have had the privilege of actually feeling safe and cared for, including with themselves. You know it when you feel it, but until then, we keep moving towards it. We continue to fight for that space within ourselves. And it is up to you how you will cultivate this feeling. You can use the feeling of safety as a compass. Notice your thoughts. Are they guiding you home to yourself, to feeling empowered? Or are they taking a hatchet to the house you're building? Often the first step is putting down the invisible dagger we carry pointed at ourselves. From this space, we can reach out. Oh, I'm tearing up. This is just. From this space, we can reach out. We can invite in. We can trust that even when we're let down, we can keep ourselves safe. But the hearth is not meant to be only ours forever. It is meant to be shared and experienced with others. Continue to arrive at this place. And remember, to feel safe, we must create safety. We cannot expect the world to build it for us. It will never tiptoe around our fears. We will always feel brave if we know we can return home to a bed made of feathers. We can stay in the world's many battles as long as our hearts are lined with white flags. So this is kind of a deeper message, but the same message as the one we started with. Cultivating that inner hearth is how you become receptive. It's how you can open enough to receive. And I just love that. And I'm not going to expound more than that. So the song, the channeled song here is Once There Was a Hush Puppy by Dan Romer. So you can look that up if you're feeling so called. But I am going to leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this resonated. If it did, I would love it if you left a like, a comment, subscribe for more. If it didn't, you are welcome to choose another group or another reading. I have several on the channel now. And if you don't like my style, maybe I'm just not for you, and that's okay too. By all means, there are so many readers, and I can't be for everybody. So thank you again so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are. Take care. Bye-bye.